hires an EA or a VA or an IPA, whatever the heck it is, right? Like, make sure you define what the right person looks like. And for me, that's typically they have to be a great example of our core values. They got to be an ideal team player. It's a good book. It's they got to be humble, hungry, and smart. And smart refers to EQ, not necessarily IQ. We look at predictive index and DISC and make sure that that person matches up with the right behavioral profile to fit in that position. And that they have a good cognitive ability. In real estate, you got to be a quick learner no matter the position. And if you're committed to doing that, and I posted this the other day and got a lot of good feedback. It was an excerpt from one of Jim Collins' books that I'm reading, and he said, you can't motivate the wrong people. Right? But what you can do is hire the right people and manage them in a way that they never become unmotivated.
That's powerful. Because
that's a lot of times what happens.
Yeah.
Possibly what happened with one of the 3 COOs that I let down over the course of a 7-year time frame. Is I might have hired the wrong person and then either not given them enough leadership or gave them too much management, right? Where I didn't give them enough freedom. And I might have unmotivated that person.
Yeah, it's something that I learned, again, recently from Larry Yatch, just talking about, like, there's control-centric where I got to be in your business, right? And then there's empowerment-centric where just like, all right, Eric, do whatever. And what happens often is that we're either too control-centric or we're too hands-off. And we got to find that right balance depending on the team member.
It's funny, right? It's always that balance. Like we was talking about, like the paradox of having visionary confidence that you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to, but the willingness to stare the brutal facts in the face and allow people to give you the truth. And by the way, like, shout out to Larry and Annie Yatch, right? Like, when you talk about, for those of you who don't know this, people, like, when you talk about leadership and execution, like, my man operated as a SEAL team leader, right? So when you talk about the high stakes of operating a mission, it's life or death.
Failure was very expensive.
Yeah, so it's amazing. I've done some training with them. I'm actively trying to figure out the timing of them coming in and working with our team and working with me one-on-one to help us, because he's got that whole new facet of the thing. Is it used to just be leadership. Now he has that whole business aspect. Where he ties in what he's learned about leadership into business. So for anybody that's looking for leadership training, I would strongly encourage you to reach out to Larry and Annie Yatch.
So one thing you talked about is make sure you hire correctly, right? We've all heard hire slow and fire fast. We've all heard it. But a lot of us that are solo operators or run really small organizations say, I don't have time to hire the right way. Like, I just need somebody now. I need to grow now, or I need to scale now.
Yeah.
What are you telling them?
I mean, I think it's almost obvious. I think if you just ask that question and step away, they'll figure it out on their own.
Right.
The reason you don't have time to hire the right person is because you've hired the wrong person probably just prior to this, right? I just read a book. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but it's a CEO who only does 3 things. He talks about people, culture, and numbers.
Trey Taylor.
Yeah, Trey Taylor. Great book, right? People, culture, numbers. Like, as a CEO or a business owner, even if you're the most important thing you can do is take time to hire the right person. So here's the other caveat that I would say to that, though. I think a lot of people give that advice, but they'll omit the fact that there's an urgent aspect of it. If you're constantly recruiting, you'll never be in a position to where you have to hire someone out of an urgent demand and not have the time to get the right person. So one of the things that you and we spoke at CG and talked about this, right? Because of our activity on social media, I put up a post the other day just to show you the stark difference between someone that is active on social media and someone is not. I'm mildly active on social media, right? Put out 1 or 2 videos a day. I try and teach whatever I feel like I'm qualified to
that's
teach.
Pretty active.
It's mildly compared to you, right? And I put up a video Wednesday of last week that we were hiring for 2 sales positions. And I said, and one of the things that here's a small piece of advice I've learned that has worked well for me. When I look at job descriptions, that's 95% saying this is what you have to contribute to the company. You need to be able to do this. You got to be able to do this. This is how you should behave. And it's like,
Boring.
yeah, well, yeah. Why don't you tell me what it's like to work there?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to flip the script. Let me tell you 90% of this job posting, what it's like to work here. Here's our training.
Mm-hmm.
We offer something, Ben Mott's idea. We launched 2 great ideas he had that only 2 though. He's only had 2 great ideas. Everything else was mine. But there was 2 that we implemented this year that we've seen a phenomenal response to. One was, if we're at 100% or higher of current monthly revenue goal, everybody's off Friday at 1:00.
Mm-hmm.
It's the response has been amazing. So I'm in Pennsylvania, right? In the summer, it's the only time you can ever go outside. You guys have summer weather here all year. But in December, like, people are in pain. It's so cold, right? So we try and make the most out of the summer. So if you're off at 12 o'clock on a Friday, you can go to the beach when you might not be able to do that at 5 o'clock. You can go, spend extra time with the family or do something. So we've seen a tremendous response to that. Number 2 was we introduced perk days, which is your work anniversary is now a day off.
Mm-hmm.
Your wedding anniversary is a day off.
Yeah, I saw that.
Your birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's just, so we've really tried to, that's when you go into talking about when you hire the right people, your primary job is to just make sure they never leave.
Yeah.
So we believe we have great people. We want them to stay forever. So we act as if we're constantly trying to recruit them. Bottom line is social media, when we talk about stuff like that, and I put that job ad out there, I said, here's all of the things that we'll offer you. And there was 2 sentences about what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like to have some experience in sales, but it's not necessary. It'd be cool if you understood real estate, but if not, we'll teach you.
Yeah.
But you need to align with our core values. Make sure when you send me an email to include your resume and 2 examples of how you're humble or you're excellent and you're committed to improvement or you've shown integrity. I got, Steve, 20 overqualified applicants. Door-to-door salespeople. It's got to be the hardest thing to do in the world.
Yeah.
And they make a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got someone that was actually drafted in the professional lacrosse league, drafted as a professional. I didn't even know that existed.
Mm-hmm.
Super competitive guy, sold, life insurance policies, which is a cutthroat business. So just got overwhelmed with qualified applicants, didn't even put an ad out on Indeed or Facebook or anything. Meanwhile, I'm talking to a coaching client who's had an ad out for 3 months for an acquisitions agent in California and can't sniff a qualified applicant. Only real difference between our businesses, I'm visible on social media. He doesn't even log in to Facebook.